Welcome to the series of lecture on finite element analysis. In this part, we are going to derive the mathematical model and element characteristic equation of transverse vibration of a beam problem. In the earlier part, we have discussed about what is vibration, what are the various types of vibration, and how to define the vibration characteristics. All these things we have discussed in the earlier part. So in simple terms, we can say vibration is nothing but an oscillation of a system with respect to an equilibrium position, or we can say any repeated motion as the vibration. We are going to consider the transverse vibration. In the last part, we have discussed about the longitudinal vibration of a bar problem. When a member is subjected to axial load, we call it as bar. That type of axially loaded members are subjected to longitudinal vibration. When we say a member is subjected to a transverse load, then we will call it as a beam. Okay, so beam is a transversely loaded member which is subjected to transverse vibration. So now we are going to derive the mathematical model for the transverse vibration of a beam, and also we are going to derive the element characteristic equation for this transverse vibration of beam problem. We are assuming that all the vibrations are following simple harmonic motion. That means when you trace the path of a particle present in the body, then that path will be a simple harmonic motion like this, a sinusoidal waveform. So by assuming the motion follows the simple harmonic motion, we can easily solve this vibration problem. So this is the equation for simple harmonic motion. So any member which is oscillating with the simple harmonic motion, we can easily define the displacement, velocity and the acceleration. And for the simple harmonic motion, either we can use the sin omega t or cos omega t. So but we will get to an important property, that is acceleration is proportional to the displacement of the motion. So by using this property, we are going to reduce the time domain governing differential equation into a frequency domain equation that we will see. In types of modes of vibration, there are three modes possible: longitudinal vibration, transverse vibration and torsional vibration. Longitudinal vibrations for axially loaded bar problem. Transverse vibration is for transversely loaded beam problem. Torsional vibrations are for shaft which is subjected to torque. Okay, so now in this session we are going to see the transverse vibration of a beam. For deriving the mathematical model of transverse vibration of beam, we are going to consider a simply supported beam. The simply supported beam, the left end we have hinge support, right end we have roller support. So we are going to denote that transverse deflection as W. W of x is the transverse deflection. If you want to study the characteristics of transverse vibration of this beam, what are the characteristics of vibration? Frequency, amplitude and mode shapes. If you want to study these characteristics of vibration, first we have to convert this beam into a vibration system. In any vibration system, we have four elements of vibration. One is stiffness, another one is mass and damping and external force. Here we are going to consider only free undamped vibration, so we will have only stiffness and mass of the system. At the end of the mathematical model, we will understand how the stiffness and the mass are represented in the governing differential equation. To proceed this mathematical model, let us define some parameters. Here E is Young's modulus, A is area of cross section of the beam, I is area moment of inertia of the cross section of the beam, rho represents the mass density, that is kilogram per meter cube. For transverse vibration like this, we are going to derive the mathematical model first, then we will see the element characteristic equation based on the mathematical model. To start the mathematical model, we are going to consider a small elemental length dx on this simply supported beam. Based on this elemental length, we are going to draw a free body diagram. From the free body diagram, we will write the equilibrium equation. Then we apply the constitutive equation, we will get the mathematical model. So we will see the procedure. So this is the free body diagram of this elemental length dx. This dx length is shown here. So this dx length. Now we are introducing the shear force and bending moment for this elemental length. We are considering the left hand side downward q shear force and right hand side upward q plus dq, because after this elemental length dx there will be small incremental in the shear force as well as the bending moment. That is why we are showing the here q plus dq, and the bending moment we are assuming positive bending moment. Left hand side we have m, in the right hand side with the incremental in moment m plus dm, all this thing. It is a dynamic problem because vibration is a dynamical problem. So if you want to solve any dynamical problem, first we have to convert the dynamical problem into a static problem by applying the D'Alembert's principle. So what is the D'Alembert's principle? Together with the inertia force, system will be in dynamic equilibrium. So here we are considering that inertia force in the free body diagram, then the dynamic problem will become the static problem. We can easily solve the problem by applying the static equilibrium equation. So to apply the inertia force, first we have to consider the line of motion. At a particular instant, let us assume the beam is vibrating in this direction, downward direction. So if the line of motion is assumed downwards, the acceleration force will be upward like this. We are going to use the force equilibrium equation. For that force equilibrium equation, we will have the shear force and this inertia force. Now this is the equilibrium equation. We are considering sigma Fy is equal to 0. All the vertical forces, sum of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. Here vertically upward force is considered as positive. By using this symbol, we can say this is a negative force minus q, and this is a positive one q plus dq, and this is a positive inertia force ma. So minus q plus dq plus ma equal to 0. So we can eliminate this q. So we will get only dq plus ma equal to 0. Now what is m? The elemental mass is nothing but rho multiplied with a dx. A dx is the elemental volume. We will get this elemental mass of this beam. What is a? A is the acceleration. So second order derivative of the displacement with respect to time. So d square w by dt square, we are going to replace this a in terms of our field variable. What is our field variable? The w, the transverse deflection of the beam. Divide the entire equation by dx. So we will get dq by dx, and here this dx will be eliminated. So you will get dq by dx rho a, then the a will be replaced with d square w by dt square, which is equal to 0. Now what is this q shear force? In the earlier part we derived the relationship between the bending moment and the shear force. You can refer the earlier videos. The rate of change of bending moment with respect to the length is equal to shear force. So using this relationship, we can get this one, dq by dx will become d square m by dx square plus rho a d square w by dt square, which is equal to 0. Now this m is the bending moment. This bending moment should be replaced with the variable w. How to replace that? By using the constitutive equation. What is the constitutive equation we are going to use here? That is bending equation, because it is a beam problem. We have to use the bending equation as the constitutive equation. What is bending equation? M by I is equal to sigma by y is equal to E by R. So here M is equal to EI by R. That 1 by R is nothing but d square w by dx square. That radius of curvature is defined in terms of w. There is a derivation in the Swintham material textbook. So we are using that relationship. So bending moment M is equal to EI multiplied by d square W by dx square, second order derivative of the W. So substituting this M in this equation, then we will get EI d power 4 W by dx power 4, because already second order derivative is there. D power 4 W by dx power 4 plus this term rho A d square W by dt square, which is equal to 0. Now this is the governing differential equation of this transverse vibration of beam problem. In this equation we have two independent variable, that is x, another one is time t. Because it is a dynamic problem, we have time also involved here. But to solve this problem, we are going to eliminate this time domain in terms of frequency domain. At this stage, this equation is called a governing differential equation of a transverse vibration of beam problem in time domain. Now we are going to convert this equation into frequency domain. Let us see. We have to assume that the transverse deflection W is following simple harmonic motion. So if you assume transverse deflection follows simple harmonic motion, then we can use any one of this equation, W sin omega t or W cos omega t or W multiplied with e to the power minus I omega t. That means either we can say the motion is following sinusoidal waveform, sine form or cosine form, or the combination of sine and cosine. If you use any one of this equation, finally we will end up with the same relationship only. So here we are using W, transverse deflection W of x is equal to capital W, this is the amplitude sine omega t, then capital W will be the amplitude of this vibration. Now when we differentiate this one, first differentiation dw by dt, W sine becomes cos omega t, again we will get this coefficient omega. Then differentiating second time, d square W by dt square, which is equal to minus omega square W sin t, because this cos will become minus sin omega t, so we are getting minus sin, and again we will get this omega coefficient, so omega become omega square minus omega square W sin omega t. This sin W sin omega t is nothing but W, that is W of x, so we are getting minus omega square W. So d square W by dt square can be replaced with minus omega square W. Here we are showing it. Governing differential equation which is in the time domain, we can replace this d square W by dt square with minus omega square W. This is the equation EI d power 4 W by dx power 4 minus rho A omega square W is equal to 0. In this equation, we eliminated the time variable, so we are getting only the x as the independent variable. Here we have, in this equation we have only frequency. So this is called governing differential equation of the transverse vibration of a beam in frequency domain. So already we understood the importance of the time domain and the frequency domain through this graph. So here when you use the time domain to represent the oscillation, we are not able to get much information about the oscillation. In actual practice, all the vibrations are denoted in frequency domain only. So where we will get what is the frequency of the vibration and also the amplitude of vibration. If the system has combination of frequency, then the frequency domain will give all the informations. Compared to the time domain, the frequency domain will give the more information about the various natural frequencies and the amplitude of the vibrations. This is the fourth order homogeneous differential equation, because we are getting d power 4 W by dx power 4. So this is the governing differential equation for transverse vibration of the beam. How to represent the mathematical model? So mathematical model, we have three things. One is the governing differential equation in frequency domain, EI d power 4 W by dx power 4 minus rho A omega square W equal to 0. What is the domain? Domain we have only x, independent variable. X is varying from 0 to L, And what are the boundary condition? This is assumed as simply supported beam. So at x equal to 0, deflection 0 and bending moment 0. At x equal to L, right hand deflection 0, bending moment 0. So these are the boundary condition which can be used for solving the problem. After getting the mathematical model of this transverse vibration of a beam, we are going to convert this mathematical model into element characteristic equation, which can be used for solving the problem using finite element method. So how to derive the element characteristic equation? Let us see. For converting the governing differential equation into the element characteristic equation, first we have to reduce the order of differentiation in this governing differential equation. In this equation we have fourth order differentiation. That means if you want to solve the equation as it is, the minimum order of polynomial required is fourth order polynomial. But if you reduce the order of differentiation by half, then we are able to solve the problem using second order polynomial itself. If you want to use that beam element to solve the transverse vibration problem, we have to reduce this order of differentiation by half. So by using the weak formulation approach, we are able to do that. When you substitute the trial function, any trial function for this W, then the governing differential equation will become the residual function that we have discussed earlier. So what is the residual function? If any trial function is substituted in the governing differential equation, that governing differential equation will not satisfy the condition, so it will give some residue or error. So that is why this equation is called a residual equation after substituting the trial function for this W. Now let us say we are going to use on trial function for this W. So we are saying that this is a residual equation or residual function. Once you have the residual function, we can use the Galerkin approach. So what is the Galerkin equation? We have to multiply this residual function with some weight function v of x and integrate this product over the domain and equate to 0. This is called a Galerkin equation. Now R of x we derived. What is weight function? Weight function we will see what is the weight function we are going to use. And when you multiply with this weight function to this residual function, we will get two integration. Integral 0 to L. 0 to L is the domain. First part is ei d power w divided by dx power 4 multiplied by vx, weight function, into dx. Second part here, this one, integral 0 to L rho a omega square w into v of x dx equal to 0. So this is the Galerkin equation. Now in this equation we have two parts. To solve this equation, in the first part we have inside the integration we have the differential operator. So this is called integral differential equation. So this type of integral differential equation can be solved by using integral by parts formula, right? That already we have seen, but anyway I will quickly go through that. What is integral by parts formula? This is the formula. Integral u dv is equal to uv minus integral v du. In this problem, what is u? Here u is going to be v of x, integral u dv. So here d by dx of d cube w by dx cube. So your v going to be ei d cube y, sorry, here d cube w, this is d cube w by dx cube. Now according to this formula, first you have to write uv, this is u and v, ei d cube w by dx cube. Now we are applying the limit 0 to L, then minus we have integral v du, integral 0 to L ei, what is v? V is ei d cube w by dx cube, that is the, this is our v term. Then du is dv by dx. Then the second part of this residual function we are writing minus integral 0 to L rho a omega square w into v of x dx equal to 0. Now after applying the integral by parts formula one time, we are reducing the order of differentiation from 4 to 3. Now again we are going to apply the integral by parts formula. For this part we can reduce the third order differentiation into second order differentiation. Like that we can reduce the order of differentiation by using the integral by parts formula. What is this part? We are going to see ei d cube w by dx cube. This is nothing but the shear force multiplied by the displacement, that we are going to be called as boundary term. Applying integral by parts formula for this one, let us see integral by parts formula again. In this case, uv minus integral v du, u will become dv by dx, dv is going to be ei d square w by dx square. So this term already we got from the earlier step, and now minus, this minus is here, this 4 to this integration itself we have minus, so we get minus uv. So this is u, then v, ei d square w by dx square, then minus integral v du, so minus minus will become plus. Now integral 0 to L ei d square w by dx square, d square v by dx square into dx, minus the second part integral 0 to L rho a omega square wx dx into dx equal to 0. What is this ei d square w by dx square? This is nothing but bending moment. The dv by dx is nothing but slope. ei d cube w by dx cube is q. V of x is the displacement function. We are going to derive element characteristic equation for free vibration. There will not be any external force or there will not be any external moment. So we can easily neglect these two terms. So we will get only the remaining two terms for the element characteristic equation. This is what we are discussing. So we are eliminating this part. This is qx into vx, this is mx into theta x, both can be eliminated because it is free vibration problem. So we will get only the two parts of this equation, integral 0 to L ei d square w by dx square, d square v by dx square dx, minus integral 0 to L rho a omega square w of x v of x dx equal to 0. So only two parts, right hand side 0 because of free vibration. This is going to be called as weak form of governing differential equation of transverse vibration of beam problem. We can solve this equation by using the second order polynomial trial function, because the order of differentiation is only 2, d square w by dx square, d square v by dx square. So at this stage we can use the beam element to solve this problem. Already we derived the characteristics of the beam element. So beam element is nothing but one dimensional line element with two end node 1 and 2. At each node we have 2 degree of freedom w and theta. Here w is transverse deflection, theta is the slope of the beam. So the interpolation function will have 4 shape function n1, n2, n3, n4. So n1 w1, n2 theta 1, n3 w2 plus n4 theta 2, like this. This is the interpolation function for this transverse deflection, where n1, n2, n3, n4, these are the shape function for the beam element which are derived in earlier part. You can refer the earlier videos. So n1 is 1 minus 3 x by L whole square plus 2 x by L whole cube. So here we are getting the third order polynomial, because to derive the w of x we assumed a third order polynomial initially in the interpolation function. You can refer the earlier videos. In n1 and n3, these are the n2 shape function for displacement, n2 and n4 are shape function for the slope. Now we are going to use this w of x, n1 w1 plus n2 theta 1 plus n3 w2 plus n4 theta 2 in this w weak form, and v can be assumed either n1, n2, n3 or n4. So by that way we are able to derive the element characteristic equation. Let's see, this is the weak form of the transverse vibration equation. Now for w we are going to use the interpolation function. n1 w1 n2 this one n1 w1 n2 theta 1 n3 w2 n4 theta 2 like that, and weight function v can be n1 or n2 or n3 or n4. By substituting that, we will get the four simultaneous equation. First part going to give the stiffness matrix, and the second part we have integral 0 to L rho a omega square. For this w we are going to use that interpolation function in terms of n1 n2 n3 n4, and v we are going to substitute the shape function n1 n2 n3. This is going to give the mass matrix of this transverse vibration problem. The derivation of the stiffness matrix already we have discussed in the earlier beam problem, so we can refer that. So here I am directly taking that stiffness matrix. So the general notation will be Kij is equal to integral 0 to L ei d square ni by dx square d square nj by dx square into dx. So the second order derivative of the each shape function already we discussed. After substituting the second order differentiation, and after that we will do integration and apply the limit, we will get the elements of the stiffness matrix. So we will get the 4 by 4 matrix as the stiffness matrix. So here major diagonal are non-zero element, and this is a square and a symmetrical matrix, that you have to remember. And how to derive the mass matrix for this transverse vibration problem, let us see. So this is the second part of this weak form. We are denoting this mass matrix elements in general like this. So omega square is taken outside, it's a constant. So remaining terms are considered 0 integral 0 to L rho a w. When you substitute interpolation function and vx we substitute shape function, you get ni and nj into dx, right? So by substituting the different shape function values, we are able to derive the elements of mass matrix, the 16 elements. So I will show only one element because of the time constraint. So the procedure will be similar, we can extend it for deriving all the 16 elements. So m11 is nothing but first element of the mass matrix in the 4 by 4 matrix, first element m11. How to get that one? Integral 0 to L rho a, we have to substitute n1 n1, that is why we will get n11 element. So rho a is taken outside, constant, integral 0 to L, this is the shape function n1, again n1, multiply n1 and n1 equal to dx. So this shape function derivation and all, we can refer the earlier videos. So we are using this n1 and n1. n1 is 1 minus 3 x square by L square plus 2 x cube by L cube. So there are 3 terms inside the bracket. So when you multiply these two, we will get 9 terms. So you have to write these 9 terms correctly. So then you add the similar term x square terms and x cube term, right? Then we will get this equation like this. So in rho a integral 0 to L 1 minus 6 x square by L square plus 4 x cube by L cube plus 9 x power 4 by L power 4 minus 12 x power 5 divided by L power 5 plus 4 into x power 6 into L power 6. Now we have to do the integration for this equation. Then we have to apply the limit. We will get the first element m11. After integration, these are the terms. Then you have to apply the lower limit and upper limit. Lower limit is 0. You need not to worry about the lower limit. You apply only the upper limit. After applying x equal to L everywhere, then we are reducing all the terms. So finally we are getting the m11 term is like this. That is 13 rho AL divided by 35. So like that we can derive the other element also. For example, if you want to derive the m12, how do you write the m12? m12 is nothing but rho a integral 0 to L n1 multiplied by n2, shape function n2 you have to consider, where n2 is here. This n2 should be considered. So by doing the multiplication and integration and applying limit, we will get the m12 term. Similarly m13, m14, m21, all the 16 elements we can do. After finding the 16 elements, we can get the common terms outside. The common terms are the rho AL and the some constant. I will show the next slide. Mass matrix will be like this. After getting all the 16 elements, the common term rho AL in the numerator, in the denominator we will be taking 420 as the common term. So because it is taken 420 is taken outside, so here this 13 will become 156. When you multiply 12 and the 12, the numerator and denominator, you will get 156 and this 420. So like that, in all the elements we will get this rho AL term and a corresponding constant in the denominator. So this is the 4 by 4 matrix, mass matrix for the transverse vibration of the beam. Here also in the major diagonal we will get the non-zero and non-negative terms, and this is a square and a symmetrical term, that also we can verify. Okay, after getting this mass matrix and stiffness matrix, so this is our stiffness matrix, we can write the element characteristic equation. The element characteristic equation will be in this format. This is K matrix minus omega square M matrix 4 by 4 matrix. So these are the degrees of freedom W1 theta 1, W2 theta 2 for the beam element, right? We are using beam element with the two end node. So in the node 1, node 2, here we will have W1 theta 1 degree of freedom. For node 2 we have W2 theta 2, 4 degrees of freedom. That is why we are getting 4 by 4 matrix for the stiffness as well as the mass matrix. Right hand side we have 0 0 because it is a free vibration. If you want to solve the transverse vibration problem, we have to remember this matrix, stiffness matrix and the mass matrix for the beam. So then only we are able to solve the problem. Now in general we can write the equation like this: K minus omega square M. Here this is the displacement vector, right hand side 0. K is the stiffness matrix, M is the mass matrix, omega is the natural frequency, that is the angular frequency or natural frequency of the beam. How to solve this equation for frequency value? We can say the U, the displacement U cannot be 0 because when there is a vibration in a beam, so definitely there will be a deflection, right? So deflection cannot be 0. So U cannot be 0. So only possibility to satisfy this equation is K minus omega square M should be 0. For that we can say determinant of this K minus omega square M should be equal to 0. Then only this will be 0. So this equation is called a eigen equation in mathematics. By using this eigen equation concept, we are able to solve this omega square. Omega square is called eigen value in mathematics. Here it is going to be called as natural frequency. And after knowing this omega, by substituting omega here, we are able to find this U, which is called the eigen vector. Here it is called the amplitude of vibration. Using that amplitude, we are able to find the mode shape of the vibration also. In the next part, we will see how to solve a transverse vibration of a beam problem using this element characteristic equation. Thank you for your passion listening.